welcome back to Success Care 24. So I hope you guys are doing well and practicing well for the upcoming examinations, isn't it? So let's do some of the questions from the topic time and work. I've already taught you some of the questions from this topic and we will solve further questions from the topic, all right? So I have taught you already how to solve questions from the topic time and work using the method LCM method, isn't it? Because conventional method is way longer and it will take you more time. Okay, so we will use LCM method to solve questions from this topic, and you can solve any kind of topic related to any kind of question related to this topic using that LCM method only. All right. So here is our first question. So first question is given as the rates of working of A, B, and C are in the ratio 3:4:5. Find the ratio of working of days, okay, taken by them to finish the work. All right. So first of all, let's discuss the basics of time and work. So we know the basics as, we know that work done is given as or time taken is given as total work divided by efficiency, isn't it? We know that already. So what do you mean by efficiency? Efficiency is your rate of doing work, isn't it? Efficiency is 1 day work. So we can term efficiency as 1 day work, rate of doing work, all right? And the formula for this time is given as total work divided by efficiency. So that means from here we can draw some conclusion. What are the conclusion? That means time is inversely proportional to your efficiency, isn't it? And efficiency is also inversely proportional to your time. Okay, so from the formula itself, we can draw two conclusions that time is inversely proportional to efficiency and efficiency is also inversely proportional to time. Okay, so using this formula or using this concept, we can solve question number 1. So here given as ABC, the rates of working of ABC. That means what? Rates of working is nothing but efficiency, isn't it? I've already taught you that efficiency means 1 day work, or we can term it as rates of work. Okay, so rates of work is given as 3:4:5. That means the ratio of the efficiencies are given as 3:4:5, and you are asked to find out the time taken. Okay, and you are asked to find out this. So we already know that efficiency and time are inversely proportional to each other. Okay, so that means what we need to do? So you are given 3, 4, 5. Ratios are 3:4:5. So you need to take the inverse ratios of this. So inverse ratios of this will give you time taken by them. Time taken by A, B, and C. So for this, we need to take the LCM of 3, 4, and 5. So what would be the LCM of 3, 4, 5? So LCM of 3, 4, and 5 would be, LCM of 3, 4, and 5 would be how much? It would be your 60, isn't it? 60. So LCM would be 60. Then you just divide the LCM by 3, by 4, and by 5. So by dividing 60 by 3, you will get 20, all right, and by dividing 60 by 4 you will get how much? 15, and by dividing 60 by 5 you will get 12. That means your time taken by ABC to do the work is 20:15:12. So this is your required ratio. So from where we have done this calculation? From the concept itself. The concept was efficiency and time are inversely proportional to each other. So using this, you just take the inverse ratio. For that, you have to take the LCM. LCM of 3 or 5 would be 60. Now divide those 60 by 3, 4, 5 respectively, and you will get the ratios as 20, 15, and 12. So this will be the time taken by ABC to complete the whole work. So what is the main concept here? Main concept was here to identify what does that mean. This means rates of working means nothing but efficiency. Okay, all right, so let's do the next question. Okay, so here you are given as A can do a job in 12 days. Okay, so A can do the job in 12 days. Alright. So A can do it in 12 days. And B complete the same work in how much? 15 days. It is given. So we won't solve it conventionally. Alright, I've already taught you the process. What we need to do, we just take the LCMs, isn't it? From that LCM we will get the total work, and from the total work, dividing this total work by time, we will get the efficiencies, respective efficiencies of A and B, isn't it? So your time taken by A is 12 days, and to do the same work B takes 15 days. So now I need to take the LCM of 12 and 15. So how much would be the LCM? LCM would be 60, and this 60 will represent what? Total work. So this is called your LCM method. I have already taught you this. If you haven't gone through the video, just check once. Alright. So this is your total work. So total work is your 60. Then the efficiency of A will be how much? Efficiency formula was total work by time. So total work is your 60. Time taken by A is 12. That means efficiency would be 60 by 12. That means how much? 5. And efficiency of B would be 60 by 15. It would give you 4. Okay. So we get the individual efficiencies of A and B. So individual efficiency of A and B are 5 and 4 respectively. Now what you are asked to do? So you are given as A started working alone. Okay. So A started the work, and after 3 days B joined. Okay. So A have already started the work and he did this work for 3 days. So I know efficiency is nothing but rates of doing work or 1 day work. So if efficiency of A is 5, that means A does 5 units per day, isn't it? That means A does 5 units of work per day. That is the meaning of efficiency. So from here, what can we say? So if 1 day work is 5, then 3 days work would be how much? So I've already find from here efficiencies of A and B. So efficiencies of A is equal to 5 and efficiency of B was your 4. From here, since A started working alone and did the work for 3 days, that means A's 3 days works. What would be the 3 days work of A? It would be, since 1 day work of A is 5, that means 3 day work would be 3 into 5. So that means 15 unit. So 15 unit is the 3 days work of A. So after that B joined. Okay. So B joined, and you are asked to find how many days will they now take together to complete the remaining work. So that means what would be the remaining work after 3 days? So after 3 days, remaining work would be, your total work was 60 minus of A's 3 days work, that means 15 unit. So it would give you how much? 45. Okay. So 45 number of remaining work is there. So this 45 unit of work will be done by whom? A and B together. Alright. A have started the work and did the work for 3 days. After that B joined, and now they both will do the work. So in how many days will they complete? So remaining work is your 45. If remaining is your 45, to find out the number of days, the time is how much? Work done by efficiencies. And here you will consider the combined efficiencies of A and B. So what is the combined efficiency of A and B? So combined efficiency of A and B is EA plus EB is equal to how much? 9. 5 plus 4, 9. Alright. So that means combined efficiency, if we divide the total work by combined efficiency, we will get the number of days. So that means required number of days is equal to how much? Remaining work is your 45, and divide it by the combined efficiencies of A and B. So combined efficiencies of A and B are 9. So it will give 5. Is there any option? Yes, option number A. So together A and B together will complete the remaining work in 5 days. So this is your LCM method. Since I am teaching you, that's why it is taking longer. Once you learn the method, it will require only 20 to 30 seconds to solve such questions. Okay, so this is your LCM method. Alright, so that is how we can solve questions using LCM method. Any kind of questions from this topic you can solve using this LCM method only. Only one method. You don't need to memorize any kind of formula or something. Alright, you don't need that. You just learn the method, and using this method you solve any pattern of questions. Okay. Alright, so let's move to the next question. So your next question is given as A and B can do a work in 8 days and A alone can do it in 12 days. In how many days can B alone do that work? Okay. So here also we will use LCM method, nothing else, no formula, nothing. You just need to learn only one method, only one short trick that will help you in every questions. Okay. So let us use this. So A and B can do a work in 8 days. So here you are given as A plus B can do that work in how many days? 8 days. Fine. And A alone can do that same work in 12 days. This is given in your question. Now, what you need to do? You just take the LCM of 8 and 12. So, what would be the LCM of 8 and 12? It would be 48. Okay. So, 48. So, that means combined efficiencies of A and B would be how much? Because 8 days is the time required by both A and B, isn't it? 8 days is the time required by both A and B. That means combined efficiency of A and B will be how much? Total work, because this LCM denotes nothing but total work. So this total work divided by the total days taken by both of them. So 8 days they requires. Alright. So this will give 6. So efficiencies of combined efficiencies of A and B we get as 6. Okay. And now you are given, say, A alone can do this work in 12 days. That means the efficiency, individual efficiency of A is how much? So 48 divided by 12. So it will give you 4. So from here we get the individual efficiency of A, alright, which is 4, and we get the combined efficiencies of A and B as 6. So from this we can calculate the efficiency of B, of course, isn't it? Because दोनों मिला के आ रहा है 6, the single efficiency of B would be how much? 6 minus 4. Okay, if we subtract from the total efficiency the efficiency by A, then we will get the efficiency of individual efficiency of B, which is nothing but 2. Okay, so efficiency of B is your 2. Alright. Then you are asked, in how many days can B alone do it? Why we need to find out the efficiencies of B? Because we need to find out the time taken by B to do that work. Okay, so time taken by B to do that work would be how much? We know time is equal to how much? Total work by efficiency. Then time taken by B is equal to how much? Total work is your 48, isn't it? Total work is your 48, and efficiency of B, that means in one day B will do 2 units of work. Okay, by doing 2 units of work per day, time required by B is to complete the work is 24 days. Okay, 24 days. Alright, so that means option number C would be the correct answer. Okay, so I've already told you that only one method, only one short trick, and we can solve any kind of question from this topic. You don't need to memorize or learn any formula or anything. Alright, so this is the LCM method, which is very beneficial for you to do questions in exam in a very short time. Okay, so let's move to the question number 4. Alright, so this is another type of question. Okay, so here you are given the efficiencies. Let's read the question. So A is 30% more efficient than B. Okay. If you tell me, if someone is more efficient than you, then he or she would take lesser time to do that work, isn't it? The more the efficiency, less is the time taken. More the time taken, that means less is the efficiency, because they are what? Inversely proportional to each other. So always stick to the basic. Basic will make you do any question. Alright, basic is the main thing that you need to learn very properly. So here you are given A is 30% more efficient than B. Okay, So 30% means how much? 30% means 3 by 10. That means if B's efficiency is 10, then we can take A's efficiency is how much more? 3 more than B. 3 more than B. That means A's efficiency is 30. So this is another concept from percentage. I've already taught you in your previous video. You just check, alright? Because 30%, you are given 30% more efficient. So we know the fractional value for 30% is 3 by 10. So that means if we take the efficiency of B to be 10, then A is 30% more. So how much more in 10? 3 more in 10. Alright? 3 more in 10. That means efficiency of A would be 10 plus 3, 30. So from here we get the ratios of efficiencies of A and B. Okay. So A and B's efficiency ratio is 13:10. What else do we need? So how much time will they working together to complete a job which A alone would have done in 23 days? A could have done that job alone in 23 days. Alright. So from here what we can do? That means you are getting efficiencies. This is nothing but the ratios or efficiencies. Ratios of efficiencies of A and B. Okay. Then time taken would be how much? Inverse ratios of efficiencies. Okay. So from here what can we get? Okay. So from here we can get then time taken by A would be how much? 10, and time taken by B would be how much? 13, isn't it? Because time and efficiencies are inversely related to each other. So that means if efficiencies ratios are 13:10, then times ratio would be 10:13. Now in your question what is given? You are given A alone could have done it in 23 days. Alright. So because we are dealing with the ratio, so I can take 10 ratio would be equal to how much? 23 number of days, isn't it? 10 ratio would be equal to 23 number of days. So that means 1 ratio would be how much? 23 by 10. And your time taken by B is how much? Time taken by B was your 13. Ratio is your 13. Because we are dealing with the ratios here, because you are given the ratios of efficiencies. A is 30% more efficient than B. So that means efficiencies ratios are 13:10. That is why times ratio would be inverse. That would give you 10 and 13 as the ratio of time taken by A and B. So from here what we can do? We can equate the ratios to the actual number of days. Because this is nothing but ratio, isn't it? And this is your actual value. 23 days is your actual values and 10 is your ratio given. So 10 ratio is equal to 23 days. That means 1 ratio is equal to 23 by 10 days. So that means B's time ratio was what? 13. So 13 would be equal to 23 into 13 by 10 days. Okay. Fine. So from here what we can do? Now we can take those values. Alright. So now we can take this as time taken by A is your 23 days and time taken by B, that means actual value of B, actual number of days of B would be 23 into 13 by 10 days. So this is the actual time required by B to do that work alone. Okay. So from here again we will apply the LCM method. Okay. So find out the LCM from here. What will be the LCM? So LCM of 23 and 23 into 13 by 10. So LCM would be, what is the LCM for the fractional values? Now, you know that now. We know how to find out the LCM of fractions. Okay, LCM of fraction, how to find out? LCM of fraction could be find out, let us say 1 by 2 and 3 by 5. So to find out the LCM of 1 by 2 and 3 by 5, what we need to do? We just take LCM of what? Numerator by HCF of denominator. HCF of denominator, isn't it? So from here, if I take the LCM of numerator, so LCM of numerator would be how much? 23 into 13. And HCF of denominator would be how much? 1 only. So that means the total work is 23 into 13. Okay. So total work would be 23 into 13. So from now, so what we need to do from here? So you just find out the efficiencies. So efficiencies would be how much? If you divide this total work by number of days taken by A, then you will get how much? 13. So this was your efficiency of A. And if we divide 23 into 13 by 23 into 13 by 10, you will get how much? 10. So efficiency of A and B we get as 13 and 10. Okay. So you are now asked to find how much time will they working together. Now they need to work together. So now we know the individual efficiencies of A and B, and now we know the total work also. Then what we need to do? We just divide the total work by individual efficiencies of A and B. So individual efficiencies of A and B how much? 13 and 10. Okay. So 23 into 13, which is giving you, so 13 plus 10 will give you 23. So from here 23 will be cancelled out and you will get 13 days as the answer. Okay. So that means what? So they will together complete the work in 13 days. Okay. So this is the whole procedure to solve this question, because first you are given only efficiencies of A and B. Okay. Only the ratios of efficiency, not the actual efficiencies, but the ratios of efficiencies of A and B, as 30% A is 30% more efficient than B. So from there we calculated the ratio of efficiency of how much? 13 and 10. From here we equate this ratio to the actual values. Okay. So from here we get the total work and the actual efficiencies, and after that what we do? We just divide the total work by the combined efficiencies of A and B, and from that we just get 13 days as the required answer. So option C would be the correct one. Alright, so this is how we do such questions from the topic time and work. You don't need to remember any formula or anything. You just learn one method, which is ASSAM method, and you solve any kind of questions from this topic which will require for you for the exam point of view, because you need to save time in your exam. Okay, so let's move to the next question. So here question number 5 is given as A and B together can do a job in 12 days. Okay, so A plus B together do that job in 12 days and B alone do it in 28 days. So in how many days A alone can finish the work? Alright, I've already taught you this type of question, isn't it? Question number 2 I guess was of this type, isn't it? So you just solve this question by yourself and answer me in the comment box. Okay, so let's end the session here and we will come up with more such videos in future. Alright, thank you for the day.